What if a pawn wasn't just a pawn, but could transform itself into any piece on the board? Hidden within each of these is a secret identity, all folded into a mechanical housing designed to deploy all by itself. Fitting these larger and horse-shaped pieces into a pawn seems nearly impossible. But if it isn't, could it actually change the way chess is played? And if I can pull this off and put it to the test at the oldest chess club in the US,
Wait, so how does he get 2 weeks of 2 missions?
it could be one of the biggest changes chess has seen in 1500 years. So if you're new to chess, if you get a pawn all the way to the other side of the board, you can promote it to another piece. Now usually you want a queen. So last year I made this, the pawn that transforms into one. It worked, but as I've come to know all too well,
And if you need a knight?
What if I want a knight?
What if I want a rook?
What if I want
a queen isn't your only choice. But the queen took me months to design and engineer. And is it even possible to fit something like the knight into a pawn? The problem is, even if it's not, I've already started, and I've got to see this through. Alright, so what about the obvious? Making a single pawn that transforms into every piece. Sure, but do you really think that'll work? You'll probably be compromising on the look of the promoted forms. A jack of all but a master of none. Okay, so we break them into 4 separate pieces, one for each promotion. Yeah, but now you don't get to decide. The transformations are locked to each piece. Well, maybe that's a good thing. With 4 locked promotions, we can plan our own pawn placement, or maybe just have them in front of their own promoted form. Sounds great, but what about the mechanisms? What do you mean? Well, the queen, bishop, and rook are radially symmetrical, but how are you going to tackle the knight? So the original plan was to mesh the nose, ears, and mane of the knight together using these gear teeth, which worked really well at this scale, but as soon as you size down, everything becomes extremely unmanageable. The gear teeth just don't want to mesh anymore. Even after reducing my print nozzle size down to 0.2 millimeters, I still can't get anything to work. Everything's just got a lot of friction, it's super chunky. I think this is going to be more of a challenge than I originally expected. But in the meantime, I have a pretty good idea on how to start on the rook. If you remember from last time, or if you're new here, the queen pawn's neck has a few telescoping sections for increasing in height. For the diameter difference, the base of the pawn has a built-in cam mechanism that expands these 5 pieces, and the crown splits open on a wedge to open it all up. All of this happens with the action of a single compression spring, and is reversible by simply pushing it all closed from the top. As for the rook itself, I'm thinking everything from here down can function almost the same, and will mostly just change how the head looks. It's weird. Alright, so I know it doesn't have the same seam lines as the queen pawn, but that just wasn't going to be realistic if we wanted anything close to a rook. So I've made some choices that affect the look of the pawn, but I think it looks pretty unmistakable when it's in its rook form. If you're wondering how that just transformed, that was a steel washer that I placed under it. And at the base of this pawn is a magnetic release mechanism. It works most of the time, but sometimes it just... not ideal for games unless we call it surprise chess. And so I want to control this. It needs to work every time, and whatever we come up with needs to fit in the space in the bottom of this pawn. I looked at door latches, old toys, and trigger mechanisms. That's exactly what I needed, because I didn't actually need to change that much about my current design. The main issue was this flexible part that under load would slowly open up over time. So if I just swapped out that for 2 solid jaws, 2 springs, and now 2 magnets, I should get a much more stable trigger. The magnets are housed in these little wedge-like parts, and as they are attracted to a surface, the wedges or ramps force these pins open, which are fixed to the jaws. The 2 jaws hold a center pin, and once they release it, the pawn is free to transform. So I've been looking into the knight a little bit more, and I just wanted to break down the design challenge a little bit. So this is the knight that I'm trying to match. So far I've still been stuck on hinging the nose, ears, and mane of the knight open, but the body of the knight is what I'm really struggling with. At this point, I've just been rearranging the neck pieces to fill out this shape. The issue is I can't figure out how to hold them in place. I did send for some help from a friend, and he modeled some fresh takes on the form, but we weren't any closer to the mechanisms that might hold them together. We did discuss some fun ideas like using a balloon to inflate the chest, tiny tent pole rods to hold a membrane in the right shape, and even a quantum superposition knight that changes states with every glance. And I was yet again unsure about how to move forward. So I moved sideways and figured the bishop would be a walk in the park after the rook. So the bishop is definitely my new favorite pawn. If you can tell, I actually was able to maintain more of the head shape this time. But if you turn it sideways, you'll notice I had to cut off a face on either side. And that's because it's pretty recognizable as a bishop when it's turned this direction. But as you turn it this direction without those cuts, it wasn't distinguishable. It didn't have that teardrop shape that the real bishop had. The other thing is I'm really enjoying how each pawn has its own identity. This will be nice, I think, for when you are actually playing the game and you need to identify which pawn is which when they're just in their pawn states. Alright, so I spent some time thinking about the board and the game mechanics, and from what I can tell, it makes the most sense to have 2 of each pawn. So that's 2 rook pawns, 2 queen pawns, 2 knight pawns, and 2 bishop pawns. So now it was just a question of how to set them up. So option A is the player's choice. Assuming all the pawns are identical, the player can strategically plan out their pawn placement. The problem is they're not identical, which leaves us with option B, which is that every pawn is in front of their own parent piece, with the 2 queen pawns centered in front of the queen and the king. So this by itself could be interesting if promotions were a high probability, but they're not. So what if we move the promotion squares to the center of the board? But there is no exact center, and choosing either this side or that side would obviously give an advantage to one of the other sides of the board. So we'll alternate rows, giving each side the same probability of promotion, but reducing the chance of a promotion on the first move down to only half the squares. The concern that I have is that the center promotion might not be interesting to some, and it might not even work in practice. So I think I need to design a board that works for multiple play styles. After a bunch of 3D printing, I've come up with this. The board is separated into tiles that snap together from any direction. The secret are these tiles with this circular recess in the back, which allows us to snap in those steel washers from earlier, giving us the freedom to set the board up in any way we choose. That's weird. So because I can't seem to get anywhere on this knight, I went ahead and applied all the same changes I've been making to the queen as well. And I think that helped me realize something. And that is that the first time around, it was also my goal to have every pawn transform into every piece. And I obviously wasn't able to do that, so I just focused on the queen. And I'm thinking maybe this time I also set my goals too high. Maybe the knight just isn't ready to exist yet. Okay, that kind of sounded like I was giving up and on the edge of changing my name to Doesn't Works by Design, but what I really need is a break. One thing I've always wanted to do was make these pawns out of metal, but the machining cost was always hundreds of dollars per part and thousands per pawn. So I let that dream sit on a shelf and stuck to 3D printing. But the thought of a heavy, premium metal pawn never really went away. And as if to answer my call, PCBWay reached out to me and asked if they could help. I honestly thought they just did circuit boards, but they seemingly have every manufacturing capability I could want. CNC machining, sheet metal fab, injection molding, and most importantly, metal 3D printing. And so I remodeled a few features of my design, uploaded the parts, and had them printed in stainless steel. And they arrived surprisingly quickly considering how many parts I ordered. Luckily, I've got a clear schedule and a bit of hope that this might open my mind to something about the knight that I've been missing. So this is incredible and exactly the type of premium feel and heft that I was looking for. I even had these nylon boxes made for when I decide who to give this to. So a huge thanks to PCBWay for making this a reality. If you need something made for your own project, they can definitely help. Links are in the description if you'd like to check them out. The only piece left to complete this set is the knight, and I've got a few ideas now, but I need a proper way to put these pieces to the test, and I think I've found it. There's a chess club in San Francisco, and not only is it the oldest chess club in the United States, but it's located at the Mechanics Institute, which apparently used to hold industrial fairs where inventors came to showcase their products, and I don't think it could get any more perfect than that. I've reached out to the club director, and we've got a date set, but I got a lot of work left to do. That's exactly what I need. Up until now, I've been stuck in this loop, trying to use the same neck split lines as all the other pieces, but I could never figure out how to have them act in unison with a single compression spring. That was until I was looking at how to remove the gear teeth from my original head design, and I noticed that the nose and mane are just hinged pieces that fold out. Why can't the body do the same? So instead of splitting the neck horizontally, I split it vertically, hinged it at the bottom, and now we have a realistic way to open the knight, and it starts to fill out that silhouette. We can do the same for this dish piece, and now just replace the gearing in the head with a set of linkages. So I'm pretty happy about how this one turned out. I think it could definitely be polarizing on whether you like the design or not, but I'm a pretty big fan on how the plates fold out. It's sort of reminiscent of an actual knight's armor. I just hope the chess community actually likes it. So the big day is just around the corner, and I'm a little nervous about what the reception will be. But I'm pretty happy about how all the pieces turned out. And so no matter what happens, at the very least, I've got some pretty cool chess pieces. So I started off by reviewing the new pawns and promotion mechanics, and there was some confusion.
Oh wait, you can promote like that? Alright, let's play this game.
I'm very confused right now.
Oh, so this pawn can't make a queen?
It can if it gets there.
Oh, right.
But eventually everyone started to get the hang of things.
Pawn to e3?
Some even a little too well. The pieces were definitely a hit.
Have you seen the knight?
I think the knight is by far the coolest one I've seen.
I can make this into something. That is a rook. Oh, that's fun.
Yeah, see, I've never seen anything quite like this.
Yeah, boy. I mean, it's a great thing, but it throws me because it's messing with my head.
I mean, there's a lot of chess variants.
chess
There have been books
variants.
written about chess variants, but not this particular one.
It's a whole new version of chess. It's cool.
Oh, it's a queen.
Oh, I'm going to capture.
No, don't take my queen.
You probably hit on something when you said that Pawns are much more valuable.
Yes, it does.
You would have somebody like Hikaru or Magnus play a few games like this. They would be able to give you a lot more meaningful feedback really fast.
Very quickly.
And it was quite a lot of fun.
Wait, so how does he get 2 queens and 2 bishops?
Run back.
You shouldn't do that. I think you're right.
Just see the guys on the streets just having a ball with just.
I don't think I've ever captured a piece with a rook on the 5th rank. So this is a good way to become a little more creative.
By the end of it all, I had met so many great people and had some great conversations. And before I left, I knew exactly where that metal pawn belonged.
No pressure.
Pawn E8 equals queen.
And it definitely feels great to have contributed even a small amount to the legacy of the Mechanics Institute. So if you've been wondering how you can 3D print your very own transforming pawns, the files, a video tutorial, and some really cool exploded views are available on my Patreon or by becoming a channel member right here on YouTube. This project was a massive amount of work, and I'm so glad I was able to get it to the point of a working chess variant. Like any project, there are definitely aspects I'd like to improve, but I'd like to hear your thoughts on it. If you have a favorite transforming pawn, something you'd like to see changed, or even a game variant that you think these could work well in. And if you enjoyed this video, don't forget to subscribe because, as always, there are more projects in the works.